Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. So I had a message coming through today. Spirit was saying that there's a collective of souls right now who are realizing that they are shadow workers, right? How many of you guys have heard about light workers, right? And how many of you have heard about shadow work? All of you, right? If you clicked on this video, I can tell you that you know about shadow work. Okay. So Spirit was saying that there is a collective who is really learning to embrace their ability to sit and to go into the darkness, right? Some of you guys might even feel like, you know, children of like the devil himself, Um, wow, I know that energy, no judgment, right? I know some of you guys are too cool to ever have a bad bone in your body, and that's fine. No judgment. Really, 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 really no judgment. So I love this. But before we get too far into the message, I wanted to do a quick shout out to Otter Spirit, the sponsor of today's video. They just sent me my pack for the month. I got the creativity pack because I am myself an artist, and I can always use a little bit of that extra creative flow, that energy coursing through me, right? And just reminding me that I am a beautiful creative being, right? Manifested in this physical form. And so today I was wearing that, and what I love most about Otter Spirit is not only their selection and variety as far as the gems and the crystals and stuff that you can order, but also the sizes. They have these mini beads, which are perfect for me and my size person. But I know some of you men out there really like a heavier bead. They also have different sizes, small, medium, and large, as far as the, how big around your wrist is. So if you guys are interested, check out the description. They are having a Black Friday sale right now for the rest of the month. And there is a coupon code in the description as well. So make sure you click my link if you want to support my channel. So back to the message. You guys, oh my gosh, I love this message because this energy has been coming in for a hot minute. And yesterday, finally, I got 222 on the timer. I got confirmation from a couple of the subscribers in this exact energy, right? This energy was truly honoring these shadow workers. Okay. And Spirit was showing me a collective of extremely powerful, stunning souls. Like, Spirit was showing me people that were so stunning in their appearance, right? And this isn't necessarily based on societal standards or, beauty standards. This was like stunning structure, stunning architecture, stunning radiance, like, wow. And I can even say personally that some of the people that I've seen come from the craziest environments are genuinely some of the most beautiful people that I have ever seen, right? It's like these hidden gems. And that's what Spirit was showing me, was a collective of hidden gems that are so insanely important and needed and necessary, right? I know for me personally, I genuinely felt at one point in my journey that I was born into the family of devils, And it's odd because there are a lot of people in my family that are Capricorns. And if you know anything about the tarot, the devil card is Capricorn energy. So, and that came up, I think, for Spirit to emphasize to me that, that sometimes we feel like we are born into such darkness, you know? And sometimes this can even look like that family that looks perfect, that it's all an illusion, right? How many people do you know, or even yourself personally, that that was made to look a certain way, right? But on the inside, it's not so healthy, right? So I was seeing that. I was seeing a collective who has come from homes and environments and situations and um, dynamics that truly were saturated, is what I'm hearing right now, with toxicity, right? Wounds And Spirit first wanted me to mention that it takes an incredibly brave soul to come into such density, right? It takes such a brave and strong soul to come into such density and know that you're going to come into said density, right? Like, know that it is not going to be easy, and know that you are going to forget what your mission is, and you're going to have to feel your way through your experience. And wow, it's almost like being a sleeper cell. It's like you're coded and you're trained to go in and complete this mission. Right? But whenever you go in, you forget, you fall asleep, and you have to wake up, you have to reactivate, right? And Spirit was showing me that through your experience, you've been able to spot the dysfunction, right? Spot the distortion, and be the one to stand, right? To advocate, to do whatever is necessary, you know, to repattern, recode, and restructure is what I'm hearing for your family, for your bloodline, right? This was intense energy as far as the feelings of shame and guilt and fear surrounding accepting one's shadow, right? Accepting one's ability to move through the darkness and to sit in the darkness when everybody else is taught to fear it, you know? Oh, so for me, Spirit was reminding me of the moment when I got down on my knees and prayed for the devil. I prayed for that wounded aspect of the all that is. I prayed for that piece of the all that is that feels separated from the divine, right? And when I was there, I was like, oh my gosh. For some reason, I was like, it's like praying for um for your family, or even for your dad. Some of you guys might feel like that devil energy is your dad incarnated, and maybe your mom was an angel or something, like vice versa. And I'm not saying like literally, but on a soul level, one one aspect of your upbringing could have been very light, and then another aspect of your upbringing could have been very dark and heavy, right? And Spirit was showing me somebody who was feeling like they were looping, right? Like you feel like you're looping around and around and around and around and around. And the beautiful thing about it that I was shown in meditation this morning was a kind of like a carving situation, right? It's like carving out, and so the way Spirit was showing me was like a an object, but it was metal and it was dense, and it was such a hard, like, thing, right? It was like physically hard to the touch, right? And it wasn't something that you could easily like carve out, right? And so Spirit was showing me that there's a collective who was born into this extreme density, right? And this density being fear, shame, guilt, lack, separation, and wounded aspects of humanity, of the divine. And it's like your mission was to go in and to carve out this space, right? To remove some of the density. And so I'm going to try and explain it the best I can, right? To paint a picture for you guys. But I was seeing someone who was like this metal plate, and Spirit wanted it to be carved out, right? Carve out some space for flow, for energy, carve out all of the dense energies. And so it's like, if you can imagine something that is going at such a small spiral, like such a tight spiral that it looks as though it is going around just in a circle, but it wasn't going around in a circle. It was, slowly expanding, but it was having to carve into such dense energies, right? It was having to carve into it and remove all of the stagnancy, is what I was seeing, right? And so there is a collective of souls who is truly moving into and honoring shadow work and guiding people through that, guiding people through their shadow work by just doing it themselves, right? You do it yourself and you show people what it looks like. And then be the one who isn't afraid to speak up, because there are many people here who are stuck and stagnant in energies and systems and thought patterns and beliefs and ideologies and situations. I mean, we can go on. There's so many people who are stuck. And the way for them to become unstuck is for them to raise their awareness, right? And some people just are not aware of shadow work. There are so many people who focus on light work. I don't know how many people focus on light work, you know? And we need the shadow workers. We need people who are willing to look like the villain for the betterment of all, right? And the one who will sit with people when they're processing, hold space for people who are processing very dense energies, right? Not do it for them, not enable their behavior, right? Not feed into victim mentality, but truly hold space. And I'll give you a small example that just popped up in my head, and it's so funny that this even came up. But when I first met the shaman and medicine woman that awakened me, I was 17 at the time. It's been almost 20 years since we met, and she took me to a party. It was like a hippie party, right? Because she's family too. If you guys don't know, I married her son, so her son was my first husband. And so she's family, and she's like, yeah, let's go visit some of my friends, because she raised her children with other hippie moms, you know. And they had all grown, and there was a man, older man, that you would think would know better, right? And he decided that he was going to spray some wasps that were kind of hanging around outside where we were. And sure enough, that sucker came and stung him, right? And he was shocked. He was shocked, and everybody in that place was like, oh no, right? Oh no, poor guy, poor Philip, right? Poor fella, he got stung. And I was the only one that just turned and looked at him and was like, what did you expect, right? Like, bro, what did you expect was going to happen, you know? And it's something so silly. It was something so small, and it wasn't even that profound or impactful, but it was the fact that my medicine woman recognized, my medicine woman, my mentor recognized in that moment that I was, mm, I don't know, like naturally inclined to address the shadow, right? To address the things that people don't want to say. I wasn't going to feed into this guy's delusion or ego or anything, his mind. We needed to address and raise his awareness, the fact of like, bro, you cause harm, that stuff's going to come back at you, you know? And so it's funny because it doesn't even matter anything about age. Like, people are are old and still have not one clue, right? And so this message was coming through not only for a collective of shadow workers, but people who were born as shadow workers, people who were born to say the things that people don't want to say, people who were born seeing the dysfunction, people who were born and had a natural ability to guide others through their shadows and without judgment, right? That is the most important thing, is like not having judgment, truly accepting people where they are, not choosing to judge them and how they process, right? But encourage the fact that they do process, you know, encourage people to face the things that they try to hide so that they can actually grow, right? I see so many Reiki healers and healers online and people that are stuck in this like, oh, love and light and, you know, rainbow and butterflies, and oh, I'm a spiritual person, so, you know, I'm just like, happy go lucky all the time. No, that is not it. That is not at all it. And I can tell you that the true, real deal ones are so properly integrated and they've worked through the shadow and they have no problem sitting in it themselves. And especially have no problem guiding others, the ones that are ready, right? You know the difference now that it's not your responsibility to go around and press on people, right? Be an asshole and um go force awakening on people, go force shadow work on people. That's not ever going to work. But you know damn good and well that when someone is ready and that door opens, you're there. You're there. You're there. And there's no shame. There's no shame. There's no judgment. You truly are here to eat away at the distortion, right? And hold space for others while they do the same thing. You know, we pave these ways. And what I was seeing also, Spirit was showing me was like this like black ball. I guess you could see it like as a ball. And so what I was seeing was all these beautiful shadow workers who have been, and the way the Spirit showed it to me was like worms. It's so funny. I don't know what was going on with me mentally to be able to see it this way, but a Spirit was showing me worms, and it was like in the inside, all these little sleeper cells, all these wonderful shadow workers in the darkness, being born into the darkness and eating away like bite by bite to get to the outside, right? To get to the light, right? To pour some of the light in, to flush out some of this dense energy, and also to show the way. So what I was seeing was all of these little pathways all the way around from the center out, all of these pathways being paved and carved out bite by bite, step by step, right? Eating into the distortion, eating into the separation, eating into the fear-based ego mind stuff, programming, right? And with each bite, with each one of us that made it out to the other side to anchor this light in, showed a way. It was like rays of light that were shining into the center of this sphere, really, right? Like you can consider it even like the core of the earth, right? There's like people that are so hidden in their shadows and don't know how to even get their way out of it. They don't even know where to take their first bite, you know? But in this vision, Spirit was showing me all these people were, all of us, right, taking these bites out of this density and getting to the outer crust, right? Like getting to the sun, to the light, and allowing that light to pour in, not only to motivate people, but to shed light on the paths, right? Because then at that point, all the ones who are going to awaken eventually, all the ones who are going to realize how important shadow work is and that they can't just love and light themselves through life. You know, you have to face your stuff. They see all of these different paths. They see all of these different avenues in which they can take, you know, and it's for the highest good of all involved. And what it took was brave souls like you, like me, to figure out what is your style, what is your natural ability, and what is your gift, and what are the ways in which you can truly integrate your shadow and blaze those trails for others, right? The shadow workers are so important right now, you guys. And I love this so much because I'll say it all the time. There's nothing I love more than people accepting themselves. There is nothing that I love to see more here than people accepting themselves in their entirety, not judging themselves, and just like owning their experience, owning their power, owning their gifts, and realizing that you don't have to be nice all the time. Being nice all the time is an imbalance in your energies, right? Kind, yes. Respectful, absolutely. But nice, no, right? And maybe this message is for somebody who is realizing that it's not your responsibility to protect everybody's feelings, right? Because maybe their feelings are getting in the way of their growth, right? Of their own development. And it takes extremely brave souls to be honest enough with themselves, right? To truly be honest with others. And I love you guys so much, and I honor you, each and every one of you, each and every one of you that are not afraid to go into the darkness, each and every one of you who has really found comfort in their dark side, right? And have integrated that, and know when to tap into your light, and know when to tap into your darkness, and know when to stay balanced, and always walk that fine edge between the two. And wow, I love you guys so much. And if for some reason you ever forget who you are, just know that the villain isn't always the bad guy in the way that one would assume, or in the way that we have been programmed to believe, right? Whoever you are, you came from such a wounded place, and you were born into wounds, and you had what it has taken to get yourself out of that, to heal as much as you can. And it's never ending. We're always healing, and we're always carving out this path, and we're always expanding and eating away at the density. But you're doing it, right? Especially if you came across this. So I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, check the description if you're interested in checking out the Otter Spirit Black Friday sale. We also have a affiliate link in there for the Spooky 2 and donation options. If you guys have made it to the end, make sure you like, subscribe, and share this with anybody that you know. I'm sure you guys know a few shadow workers out there, or bad guys gone good, or whatever you want to refer to it as. So yeah, love you guys.